So let's do a discussion, and I've picked up on this across Booktube in general, the lack of ebooks. I'm a reader. I read across multiple formats, audiobooks, physical books, and ebooks. I have a Kindle and I also have an iBooks on my iPad. And what I've never quite understood about Booktube is the sheer hoarding aspect of Booktube, and I'm a little guilty of that myself. You know, I see people buying multiple copies of the same books that aren't particularly valuable, and I do get being a collector. There are certain things that I collect, and I do own 2 sets of Harry Potter because one of mine is first edition and completely signed. And they live in a box, and they're my originals, and they will never be touched by daylight or the hands of man again. But for me, I think the ebook is a great way of experiencing literature. The ebook, all the classics are free. All these amazing classics that are spectacular and powerful and beautiful are completely free. They're in the public domain, they are free. You can go on Amazon, you can go on Kobo Store, iBooks, read Wuthering Heights or nothing. And then we step into this weird thing of publishers, to be honest, would rather send ebooks. That's a secret not many people will tell, because often ebooks are free to send, as in they just email you a file. If I can, especially from new authors or indie authors or people that I tend to review more on other platforms, I tend to request the ebook. Partly because I don't have the space, but that's also another thing. I don't have a wall of beautiful bookshelves with Funko Pops and fairy lights. I have that chaos. And I don't have much room in general. My house is quite small. And filling it with books would probably break the floor would probably collapse. Ebooks are a fantastic format, and it's a real shame that you don't see booktubers, big booktubers, embracing the ebook. And don't get me wrong, I would like to say I'm a sucker for a book cover. I am a sucker for a gorgeous hardback. But there's what I'm a sucker for and actuality, in the terms of I just don't have the space, and I don't think a lot of people have the space. I think that goes into the hoarding aspect again, but the ebook is a great format and it's given a lot of writers an amazing platform. For example, the guy that wrote Wall, it started as an ebook. You know, that's how it started. And it gives writers this platform, for better or worse. And tragically, I think Booktube ignores ebooks and ignores the fact that they are a great resource. A lot of colleges and universities in England now will give people the ebook of their coursework books rather than the physical, because A, the physical costs a lot of money, and B, they're bloody huge. Whatever way you read your ebooks, it's a great resource. It's a great way of just having access to literature that you would probably never have. And in many cases, you can get some great deals. BookBub, for example, and stuff like that. And many times out of 10, the books on ebook format are cheaper than the physical book. Although that's not always true, and that is where I think some ebooks fall down, due to it being quite a limited market. There aren't many companies producing e-readers and ebooks. The big 3 are Apple, Kobo, and Kobo is practically non-existent in the UK and Europe. It's more Amazon and the Kindle and the iBooks probably being the most prominent. But that's where they do fall down, because also in the UK ebooks are taxed, but physical books are not taxed, which is another shame, and I think they shouldn't be taxed, ebooks. But the ebook is a great way of reading books. And I will say, a lot of smaller booktubers, a lot of newer people, you are seeing people creeping with their ebooks, because it's a great way to talk about it. If you get ARCs from NetGala or stuff like that, you're going to get 10 to 1 it will be an ebook. I think part of the fact that Booktube has a weird relationship with ebooks is the sense that there are a lot of people that just want a book because it's a pretty object. That it is just this beautiful thing to have, to look pristine on a shelf with their fairy lights and The notion of keeping books that you don't like, I find really strange as well. I'd rather pass a book on that I don't like to someone who will like it, or a charity shop, or whatever. But my thinking is, I think Booktube needs to reevaluate its relationship with the ebook and embrace it more. I think Booktube is lacking that voice, and it's a shame that it is, because it feels like you have this, it's a wasted resource, and I think a lot of it just comes down to sheer greediness and sheer hoarding, which I don't think is particularly healthy. There are a lot of independent authors, and that's another thing as well. A lot of booktubers won't review independent writers. I'm not kidding. Indie publishing, they will only review books from certain big publishers. And that, again, is kind of wrong, to say the least, on the subject. You know, I think people forget that the ebook is an amazing resource, and it's a great way of getting literature that you maybe would never have read or found or could afford. For example, the classics. I think most of my classics, excluding a handful that I own physically, are ebooks. There are plenty of places you can get ebooks at cheap or low cost, or even free. Feed Books is a great site for classics. Amazon, Kobo obviously do deals and things like that, and you can get new authors for like 99p. So I don't know what you guys think, but I just wanted to say this because I feel like Booktube is lacking the ebook voice, and I'm probably a little bit guilty of it. Tell me what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe as always, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Toodaloo.